Now, if you thought last week's game between Orlando Pirates versus Kaizer Chiefs was massive, the game between the two giants in the Nedbank Cup final is probably the biggest game, in this calendar year. It holds some significance, especially for Kaizer Chiefs, who last won or lifted silverware in the month of May in 2015. We're talking about a whole decade of Kaizer Chiefs not winning anything, and that is unheard of for a massive club, a club with a large following in South African football. So in this episode, we're basically looking at the impact or the effect of going to Spain for Orlando Pirates and going to Turkey for Kaizer Chiefs. Coaching changes for Kaizer Chiefs. Did it bring any fruits? Are there any, smiles on the system, the schemes, the formation, the tactics employed by the new technical team at Naturena? And for a Jose Riveiro, he has won Orlando Pirates 5 trophies in his 3 seasons at Orlando Pirates. We all know he's leaving the club, but if he wins this one, I think we need to give Orlando Pirates the new a new name. They once before we called them Happy People, but I think we'll have to give them a new name and call them, new Cup Kings of South African football. With the Jose Riveiro, he has not lost a cup final ever since being here in South Africa, and his 6th final is going to be a difficult one for a Kaizer Chiefs. Orlando Pirates are clear favorites on this one, but we might actually see a shocker on this one. Yes, I do go by the name of Oscar. Since football, we engage and discuss on anything to do with football from Africa to the world and from the world to Africa. Now, I don't even know where to start this one, but it was announced pre-season that Kaizer Chiefs are going to Turkey. They went to Turkey without a Nasreddin Nabi, who at the time was at Esfar, and he was fighting for the league, and there was a semi-final fixture. Now he had to stay with the club until at the end of the season. He didn't win the domestic cup. He did not win even the premiership in Botola 1 in Morocco. Ended up as a runner-up. He joined the team later into that pre-season in Turkey. Obviously, we also have to look at the players that the management supported in Nabi with. It is clear that some of the players that were signed by the team, they were not the coach's first choice, and some of the players were signed even before Nasreddin Nabi got to pre-season in Turkey. We talk of players like Bongani Sam. I think is released now. Unfortunate player with injuries. Now, in the context of what is going to happen in the Nedbank Cup final, we also need to look at the players that were signed that will not be available in this Nedbank Cup final. Unfortunately, the former Cape Town Spurs defender Rushwin Dudley, who's done fairly well for the team, he's out injured with a long-term injury. Miguel Inacio was on the bench last week. I think he did not play because I think he's got a 3rd yellow card. Had he played and got caution, he would miss this final. So Miguel Inacio is definitely available for selection. You've got the Bradley Cross signed from a Golden Arrows. I honestly think the boy did fairly well in that game against Orlando Pirates last Saturday. Just unfortunate. You could tell on his countenance. I mean, his face turned red after he slipped and then unfortunately tripped Mohankota. So Cross was really upset. Also maybe with himself, because I'm sure he wanted to be part of the squad that was going to play in the Nedbank Cup final. So he got a red card, so he's out of the Nedbank Cup final. He's a new signing out of the Nedbank Cup final. And then you've got a Gatsin Serino. His experience will be valuable in the upcoming match, and a new signing as well. I might be forgetting other signing. Oh, he's Ntwari, who came to Naturena on a red carpet, mainly because a Peterson error prone, and then Bavuma also, who's been upcoming, I don't know for how many years now, but he's not really been the best of himself. A shadow of what we've seen from the past Kaizer Chiefs legendary goalkeepers. I think that's one department that has been really bop. Bop is a proverb in South Africa that means that they ain't been good. They have not been good for some time. Now, we have to also look at the fact that Nazraddeen Nabi, how has he, conducted himself as a coach, and what have we seen mainly from him in the games he's played? You know what? Clearly, Kaizer Chiefs coming to this game as underdogs, and I don't think people are giving them a chance. But the fact that they managed to win against Mamelodi Sundowns in their home ground at Loftus, and they've scraped through to get to the final. This might actually be the year where they break that drought, break that dark, and actually win something after a good 10 years. But they are playing against the side who are now cup specialists. Jose Riveiro, the Spaniard, has been excellent. His team went to a consecutive, Spain pre-season. And with Orlando Pirates, you've got a guy like a Gilberto came to South Africa with a lot of noise, a lot of hype. And I was expecting a lot from Gilberto, the Angolan, but he couldn't even survive 6 months. Van Rooyen came into that right back position from Stellenbosch, joining Elibitso, Tabiso Nonyana, and Bandile Shandu. And he has made that number 2, or that right back position, his own. One thing that has impressed me a lot by Orlando Pirates is the fact that it is not, players who came from other teams that have really impressed, but it's more the players that have been promoted from their DDC or MDC team. Mohauncourt, I'm not going to mention Mofokeng because he came from last season. And you've got Mbogazi, who came, I think, I'm not sure if it was part of the preseason, but I know Mkota was in Spain. And then recently, you've got, because Pirates didn't sign anyone in January, as opposed to a Kaizer Chiefs. You've got a Slap, you've got all these Ndlozi, a number of these players that have done, fairly well. Players that have been really influential for Orlando Pirates are players that were signed in last January. Your Libito, your Mbata, might be forgetting others. But the pre-season, the January transfer will have a huge influence on the outcome of this Nedbank Cup final. Kaizer Chiefs signed a Tabokele from Russia, signed a Tishrik Matthews from Supersport. He signed, I even forgot, Njabulo Blomo signed last winter. That's June, July, coming on loan from MLS. But he has been a shadow of himself compared to what we've seen before he left for USA. He has been really poor. I don't know what has happened to the lad, but him coming back to South Africa was because he wanted a chance to be recognized yet again by a Hugo Bros, who made it clear that any South African player who is going to play in the MLS, he will not be considered for Bafana. So that's why he came back. But he came back and it's just been downhill. So a Tabokele in Jan, Teshrik Morris Teshrik Morris, before people hammer me for saying Matthews. Teshrik Morris from SuperSport. And oh yes, Relebohile also, League 2 in France, a Congolese coming to join Kaizer Chiefs. So the players I've mentioned, there are those who will not be available, who were signed last June, July, either because of injury or suspension. Those will be available, especially Serino, will probably have a big hand on this game. And the youngsters, I don't want to call them youngsters because in South Africa we say someone is young when he's 23. I mean, in Europe, Yamal is 16 or 17. He's playing, in top level. So we can't be overpraising players that are 23, 24. Your Mdu Shabalala is not young. Your Wandile Duba is not young. The youngest in the team is Mfundo Vilakazi, who is not part of the squad because he's with the Amachita under 20 AFCON in Morocco? In Morocco. So you consider all of that. Your Jose Riveiro has been consistent with his lineups. He's been consistent with his formation schemes, approach, tactics. On the other side, Nasreddine Nabi, he's been a frustrated figure. He came to South Africa with the tag that he's coming to cook. But we are yet to see what he's really cooking. But here's the reality. If he wins this silverware for Kaizer Chiefs, he'll probably be given money to get his type of players because he himself has considered that there is not enough quality at Kaizer Chiefs. Gatse Sereno not too long ago said there is not enough depth at Kaizer Chiefs. When there's an injury, it's a disaster. When there's a suspension, it's a disaster. But let's look at the lineups that both coaches will probably go to. What is the lineup that Nasreddine Nabi needs to put out there in order to win this game? I think Nasreddine Nabi needs to start this game with a false 9 and a big man at the center. We've noticed how much you chain, the defenders at Orlando Pirates have struggled dealing with crosses. So Kaizer Chiefs needs to test that area yet again to see if Orlando Pirates will be strong enough. Someone who's really good in aerially at Kaizer Chiefs as a striker is a Tash Morris, is a Shivaviro, but Shivaviro was not even on the bench last week, so I don't even see him playing in this game. So this game, Nasreddine Nabi needs to start with a 4-2-3-1 with Mart and Tabokele as the two anchors. As much as I liked what I saw from Nkosi Mphile Ngobo, you can start this one on the bench. Start a Tabokele together with the Mart, and the front four will be a Modi, a Serino, and a Relebohile with Teshrik Morris as a number 9, mainly being part of the first 11 because of the threat he poses when a Kaizer Chiefs have got any set pieces, and you've got a creative player in a Serino, and you've got a Modi who can really take players on. It's just that his finishing has really been poor. Who then replaces a Brady Cross on the left? I think we need to give Dove a chance to because who else is better? You can't put a Mashiane there. Is a Mashiane going to be able to do with a Muhaunkota? No chance. Right back, Solomon's assisted with the first early goal last weekend. I think he needs to start again at right back. And the central pairing, he doesn't have a choice. I think Simango is out injured because we've moved now Dove to left back. He needs to bring back a Inacio Miguel to captain the side and a Equinica next to him. Now the big question is, who is number 1? Because Bavuma has been bad. Now Peterson hasn't played for a while. Do you just throw him in there in such a big game? A game where one mistake will probably kill your Kaizer Chiefs career. I would throw in a Peterson, and I'll boldly do so, but it would be unfair because match fitness. He hasn't played for a while, and this is no yo-yo game. This is a huge game of consequence. You lose this one, the opposition get a trophy, and he'll probably go with a Bavuma. But good luck to Kaizer Chiefs. I really foresee an upset on this one. Kaizer Chiefs winning it. As to how they're gonna win it, we don't know. How did they overcome Mamelodi Sundowns? We all saw what happened. They are in the finals now. What is the approach of a Jose Riveiro? Might be his last game, because a certain team in North Africa, they want him soonest because of that Club World Cup, so they need him as soon as possible. Probably the game after this one might be his last, because Orlando Pirates will also agree that there's probably no chance of catching a Mamelodi Sundowns. So a great send-off for Jose Riveiro would be to deliver a trophy for the Orlando Pirates faithful, who really backed this man, showed love, sang with him, really supported him. So the best gift that Jose Riveiro will give the Orlando Pirates fans is to win this cup against their biggest rivals in the Kaizer Chiefs. How does he approach the game? Go with a 4-2-3-1 as well, with the anchors being a Makgopa and Mbata. Left back, I would start a Paseka Marco, but I know he's not. He's gonna start with the Namibian horse in Soweto. Right back, Van Rooyen. I'm not sure if he's clean or he's injured or not, but Van Rooyen. Central pairing of CBC and Mbogazi. Number one chain is back. Buteles was given a chance, a run last during the week, and then that front four of I would personally start a Kim Vidu. He played well in that midweek game, but we all know that Maswanganye is probably going to start this game. So it's going to be a Maswanganye, a Mofokeng, and a Mohau Nkota with that troublemaker, that menace in the box, in evidence, Makgopa. He might not be favored by many, but he does the job for the coach and for the team. The defenders will never rest with an evidence Makgopa in that box. So be rest assured, Equinica and Inasho are going to work overtime. Everyone expects Orlando Pirates to win. It will be they expect a walkover against Kaizer Chiefs, but Kaizer Chiefs, there might be an upset on this game, as I'm again and again I will repeat, as to how they're gonna win it, I also don't know, but there might be an upset. Kaizer Chiefs winning this game, it is going to be, you don't want to be in South Africa if